Howdy YouTube, today we're taking a look at the Jakks UFC from Series 1 and UFC 128, Jon Bones Jones. I'm also going to take this opportunity to break down UFC 197, talking about Jon Jones' return against OSP, Olivier St. Peru. A really kind of boring match, to be completely honest. Not Jon Jones' finest work, I don't think. If you haven't seen it now, skip it till the point where I take a look at the back of the packaging so nothing is spoiled for you. But basically, the fight for me was it was just a lot of leg kicks, 5 rounds of leg kicks with the occasional punches and offense by OSP, and then some elbows and some kicks that didn't really connect from Jon Jones. A bit of a shame. I was hoping for something a little bit more special. I really, really wanted Jones to knock out OSP, or OSP to knock out Jon Jones, for that matter. I think that would have made for a much more exciting outcome. Having said that, instead we got a 5-round decision. It certainly wasn't a war or anything like that. But I guess in a lot of respects, it's probably a good outcome in the sense that now Jones is back. He's gone the distance. He'll have that octagon rust out of his system and be ready for hopefully a really great match with my man Daniel Cormier. That's going to be fantastic. Hopefully UFC 200 or at UFC New York. But either way, a very talented fighter, even though he does come across as a bit of a tool at times, especially with his recent trouble with police and the pregnant woman and things like that. I think if he had his life together, he would be just an unbelievable fighter. Anderson Silva level skill and just very talented in general. A really cool figure. Very happy I was able to pick this up. I have had it for a long time. I've just been waiting for the right opportunity to review it. Of course, UFC 128, when Jon Jones got the call up to fight Shogun Ruha for the UFC title, ended up beating him in spectacular fashion and then went on an absolute tear, dominating the light heavyweight division. Really cool figure. Comes in the standard octagon style packaging. Behind there's a nice shot of Jon Jones beating up, I think that's Shogun, but it's hard to tell from here. Nice shot on the left there as well. I am liking the beard look that Jon Jones is sporting lately. I think he looks really cool with that and a nice figure. So let's get it opened up and out of packaging. Okay, and here we've got the back of the packaging. Nice shot of Jon Jones there finishing off Shogun. Other figures in the set, we've got Clay Guida, GSP, Jon Jones obviously, Rashad Evans, and Uriah Faber. It's a real shame that the UFC line didn't continue. They were starting, I think, to hit their strides, in my opinion. The Series 1 reboot that was the Kmart exclusive, and I think they did 3 series in that. You know, like the Brock Lesnar that came out in that series, the Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, lots of just quality figures that were really, really good. They had a lot of great ones planned, in particular the Gonzaga Jakks figure. I really wanted that badly. So to have it cancel and stop is a massive shame and a little disappointing, especially considering how good they were starting to get. But yeah, if you can find any of these, they're well worth picking up. They're certainly very cool figures, especially if you're an MMA fan. What's interesting, Jon Jones, 24 here, so it's been 4 years since this figure came out. Quite a long time, and in that time, I guess he's 21-0. Yes, he does have that loss, but that's not really a loss for those that know. 205, obviously, I think it's a little cheeky, but I do love that in the new UFC video game, EA Sports UFC 2, they've got Jon Jones as part of the heavyweight roster. I really love that idea because I think that's something he's going to do, and I would love to see him move up to heavyweight. The heavyweights normally peak a lot later than a lot of the other weight divisions, so there's still plenty of time for Jones to do that. I'd love to see him take on a Cain Velasquez or a Fabricio Verdum. I think that would be some excellent matchups. Even Overeem, a striking battle between the dynamic elbows and kicks of Jon Jones against the ruthlessness of Overeem's elbows and knees would be really cool to see. And I think he'll be a lot faster too. So a really cool figure. Let's get him opened up. Okay, and here we've got Jon Jones opened up and out of packaging. Definitely a really cool figure. I think Jakks did a great job with this one. One of my favorites. I think they nailed the face scan. It definitely looks like a young Jon Jones from his early days of choking out Lyoto Machida and destroying Rashad Evans and Rampage Jackson. Nice detail there. You can see, obviously, the Philippines 413 tattoo he's got. One thing I think is interesting that they decided to do with this figure is rather than having the whole tattoo on his shoulder, they've included it as part of the actual shoulder joint here, which I guess in one aspect is not a bad idea, but in another it does get a little annoying because the tattoo doesn't line up as good as what it could. He's got the Japanese writing on the side there, not sure what that means. Taking a look on the back, pretty cool. I mean, I love his trunks design. I think that looks fantastic, very cool. They say the EA curse, or the video game front cover curse, I know it's renowned with Madden. UFC, we had Conor McGregor losing to Diaz and Ronda Rousey, literally within minutes of being announced on the front cover, losing to Holly Holm. The year before that, the front cover had Jon Jones, and he ended up having a very successful year of running over pregnant women and going to jail. So the EA curse is alive and well. In terms of articulation, ball-jointed head, he's got the unique UFC swivel in the shoulder, ball-jointed arm, swivel in the bicep, bend at the elbow, swivel wrist, swivel in the hand, ab crunch, swivel waist, ball-jointed legs, swivel in the thigh, swivel above the knee, double bend in the knee, and ball-jointed ankles. So a ridiculous amount of movement, which is what you want from a UFC figure. Part of what makes this figure is the accessory, and that is, of course, the Light Heavyweight Championship. Jon Jones, at the time of filming, is, of course, the interim Light Heavyweight Champion. I don't understand why they needed to give him a belt. They were looking for an excuse, let's be honest. Even before Jon Jones came back, they had a press conference, and they had a belt on his table sitting there. So I think they just want to recognise that he was never defeated as the champion. And in some respects, I think that's quite good. In other respects, for me, Cormier does have the legitimate belt. He makes a good point. You have to be a champion in all areas of life. And Jon Jones, obviously not able to defend the belt, so I think he should be stripped of it. And once you're stripped of the belt, you should lose it. For example, if George St. Pierre comes back, you know, he's not going to have a belt. He's been out for 3 years, yeah, but he was undefeated as a champion. He went out on top. So do we give him a belt too? I don't think the UFC would do something like that. So with Jon Jones, I think the same applies. Daniel Cormier, you know, misses this fight, so he's out for 3 months until UFC 200. That, to me, isn't a big enough time to warrant having an interim title. But, again, stranger things have been done, and I guess for promo purposes, it does make sense. But, yeah, a really cool accessory and a really cool figure. Overall, a really cool figure. If you can find this guy, absolutely he's well worth picking up. He is quite expensive on eBay, so just bide your time and wait. I was able to pick him up for fairly cheap. I think I paid only $30 for him, which is quite a good price, especially some people are asking just ridiculous money for these UFC figures. But yeah, really cool. What does the future hold for Jon Jones? Not sure. One shout out I do want to give to is Bruce Buffer. He gives the best announcement for Jon Jones. The John and then Bones Jones. The way he says that is absolutely premier. So well done, Bruce Buffer. And well done, Jakks, for giving us a really cool figure as part of Season 1 from UFC 128, the Light Heavyweight Champion, Jon Jones.